Welcome back. I'm Chris Langley, and it's time for today's Tiger Sports Update. Football head coach Brian Kelly has been making many changes to the program since LSU hired him last year. With the spring game quickly approaching, Coach Kelly says he likes what he's seen from his new players.
LSU basketball appeared to regain some form at just the right point this season. With a blend of contributions between both the Tiger star players and some of its lesser-known names, LSU played some of their best basketball to date.
Speaking of sports, it is unanimously agreed upon that activities like football and baseball are sports. But what about those that are still being debated on? I took a further look into why esports is a sport.
He's only a freshman, but LSU first baseman Trey Morgan has made his impact felt on both sides of the ball. His strong work ethic has led him to collegiate baseball. But his baseball journey all began with a simple yet strenuous practice routine that he did with his father.
On the subject of fans, they can now take part in the LSU basketball experience beyond packing the PMAC. Sports betting is now legal in Louisiana, and casinos are eager to launch their sports books before year's end. Sports reporter Margaret Delaney has the story.
Coming into Oxford, the LSU defense had momentum on their side after forcing 4 turnovers and scoring a defensive touchdown in last week's upset victory versus Florida. But even with a strong start to the game, the LSU defense struggled mightily against the Ole Miss offense, especially with the Ole Miss run game.
In high school cheerleading, there's more to it than just doing motions and chanting into a megaphone. It's a strenuous activity that sees teams be pushed past their limits as they fight for a title. But with it comes a troubling and sometimes even downplayed issue: the injuries.
With stunts and flips, cheerleading carries many risks. A drop stunt or a wrong landing can cause injuries ranging from minor sprains to concussions to broken bones. Due to this, injuries are frequent for high school cheerleaders. However, the injury rate may be overlooked. Vinny DiCarlo, who previously worked at Holy Cross High School, shared some schools only have one athletic trainer who covers every sport. This can lead to overworking, which can cause cheer to be overshadowed.
These high schools don't have the appropriate coverage, and then the athletic trainers are so overworked trying to cover every sport by themselves that they really are not going to want to go and do that.
Even worse, those hurt still take part, possibly making their injuries worse. As teams practice a routine for weeks for competitions, the loss of just one member can be too costly. James Alvarez, the male captain of Jesuit High School's team this past season, understands the dilemma.
In cheer, the reality is sometimes you just don't have the time to get hurt. And if you get hurt, it messes up a lot of other things. So sometimes you have to power through it.
Yet come performance time, the looks of pain must disappear.
You have to be able to look like you're having a great time even if you're in pain.
Measures such as wearing med tape and practicing on mats are used to prevent injuries. But even so, teams continue to hold their breath and sometimes their tongues as they fight to stay in the competition. This has been Chris Langley for Tiger TV Sports.
After the firing of Will Wade, LSU hired Matt McMahon to be its next men's basketball head coach. The 43-year-old coached the last 7 seasons at Murray State, winning 70% of his games. Coaching future NBA players like All-Star guard John Morant, McMahon led the Racers to multiple first-place finishes in the OVC and 3 NCAA tournament appearances. During the 2021 season, the Racers won 21 straight before losing to St. Peter's in the second round. 2 days after the loss, McMahon arrived at LSU.
This is an unbelievable honor to have the privilege to stand here today as the head basketball coach at LSU.
On the court, McMahon instills a philosophy of balance, believing his team must play on both ends. During the season, Murray State ranked nationally in the top 20 for both offensive and defensive efficiency. In comparison, LSU ranked 4th defensively and 176 offensively. He also highlights inefficient offense and a physical defense, a play style that allows his players to develop for a pro career.
We're going to play an up-tempo style, but we're going to be efficient with it offensively. We're going to be aggressive and physical and tough on the defensive end of the floor. And we're going to play a style that enables elite players to come here and develop into NBA players.
But heading into his first season, uncertainty looms over the program. LSU potentially faces NCAA-imposed sanctions following the investigation into former coach Will Wade. However, McMahon doesn't plan to let it affect his preparation, stating he's ready to get to work.
We get back in the gym starting on Monday, and we're going to start establishing the culture of what LSU basketball is going to be moving forward.
Chris Langley, Tiger TV Sports.
With Max Johnson having entered the transfer portal, the LSU football team will have a new QB1 under center in the Texas Bowl versus Kansas State. but it is yet to be determined who will start in Johnson's place. The only other quarterback who played during the Tigers' regular season was freshman Garrett Nussmeier. However, participating in the game would cause him to burn his redshirt status. NCAA rules state that a redshirt football player can only appear in 4 games at maximum. If Nussmeier were to play in the Texas Bowl, it would be his 5th game. Despite the predicament, interim head coach Brad Davis announced that the school is in contact with the NCAA to figure out a solution.
We're working through some things right now to be able to have him play for us and still maintain his red shirt. And so that's something, obviously, that's in process.
Even if Nussmeier cannot play, LSU does have a few candidates who could start at quarterback. Alongside Nussmeier on the depth chart are 2 freshman walk-ons, Tavion Falk and Matt O'Dowd, who each would make his Tiger debut by playing in the game. Another candidate is Jontre Kirkland, who, although currently a receiver for the Tigers, was a quarterback at Lutcher High School. Regardless of who's under center, Davis says the team will continue to prepare for what should be a close-fought matchup at NRG Stadium.
We fully anticipate to compete in a very, very physical game, and we're excited about the opportunity to go play in a great college football, or professional for that matter, venue in front of some of the best fans in college football, which is the LSU Tigers.
For Tiger TV Sports, I'm Chris Langley.